guys, welcome back to Stage 1 at GameSpot's E3 coverage. I'm Cam Robinson. I've replaced Chris Waters. He needs a break. He's been working too hard. But what we have here is, coming up next is a horror game which I'm really keen to see. It's called Dying Light, and I'm joined by Blaze from Techland. How you doing, Blaze?
Hey, nice to see you.
Good to have you on stage. So, for anyone who's not heard anything about Dying Light, give us a lowdown. What is Dying Light?
It's a new original IP from Techland and Warner Brothers Interactive Entertainment. It's an open-world FPP action survival game with very cool parkour mechanics and then day and night cycle.
All right. Now, obviously, Techland are known for other zombie games. You know, you've done Dead Island, Riptide, so you're no stranger to this genre. So, what made you want to have another crack at zombie games and kind of introduce this parkour mechanic?
Well, of course, we like zombies. We like those games. I believe we can do a lot to expand the genre. There is a lot of interest in those games, and I think it's not even fair to consider them similar because zombies are just a background, pretty much like war games or anything else. If you see at the best zombie games, well, something that you consider a zombie game, you have Infected, you have nanotech, you have experiments gone wrong, you have the traditional, necromancy, reanimated corpses. So there is even a lot of variety in the origin stories. Plus, you have adventure games with great stories. You have repeatable action shooters. You have Call of Duty zombies. So it's not gonna go away because if you remember the most classic zombie movies or the one TV show that everyone likes these days, it's more about people than actually about the zombies. And this is how we approach our story. It's about survivors trying to get by in a world where the infected are the main threat. So the free-running mechanic or parkour, whichever you prefer, is our way of making sure people can make decisions on how to survive. Because, if you can jump, run, climb, you're making all those decisions, you have the actual advantage over the zombies, like a human would, hopefully.
Cool, well let's check out the trailer right now. We can see an example, jumping away from these zombies. Alright, so who's this? Is this the main character?
Well, the characters in the trailer will have some significance in the game, but we're not talking about that yet.
Okay.
Some of them don't make it through the night, so I guess they are not our protagonists. But yeah, they will not be just random characters. And we really made sure that this trailer is very close to where we're going with our game in terms of all the elements. If you look closely, you'll notice we have 4-player co-op, we have the free running, we have the day and night cycle because the trailer begins at sunset and goes through the night with those cool transitions between different locations, and finally ends at dawn when the sun is back up and our protagonist thinks that he's safe. Well, it's not entirely that way because the infected are not the only problem. There are other humans trying to survive and you'll have to deal with that also. Those scary guys here chasing our guy are the volatile, the most deadly infected that we have in the game. They only come out at night and they literally hunt you. So you're not safe, you're no longer the powerful character. If you don't plan accordingly, if you're not careful, they will get you.
Okay. So you mentioned there's a day and night cycle. How does that interact with the gameplay? Because I was reading that, there is differences with the way that zombies will behave or how dangerous they are. So tell me a bit about that.
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, even the most basic infected, the shambling slow ones that we call the biters, they change when the sun goes down. They become more aggressive, faster. They can turn into a different type of infected that we call the viral. It's able to actually run and follow you up the rooftops and really give you a good run for your money. And then we'll have special types that only come out at night. So the landscape changes completely. And it's not just for you, because for you the gameplay will definitely be different, but the whole world knows that it's true. So your enemies will make plans for the night, your allies will too. So let's say you want to get something that we're doing in the demo here at E3, for example. There is a nest of those nasty night zombies that you really want to get rid of. So you need explosives, and you actually wait until the night falls, because then they leave their hideout and hunt. So this is the only safe time to get in there. So you plant your explosives, but then you want to get them too, not just the building. So you wait until the sun goes up, and then they come back, and you blow the building up. So this is the easy example of thinking that means with the day and night cycle influences both the quests and the story and the way you play.
So you mentioned this day and night cycle. Is it kind of constant in the way in a game like, I would say, Skyrim, for example, where the you know, as long as you play, you go through the day and then the night, or is it actually constrained to the story? So, you know, as you progress through the missions, it becomes nighttime, or is the cycle is constant? Is it?
Well, the cycle is always going. This is a constant thing. We're still balancing exactly what the ratio will be, because this is one of the most important things we absolutely have to get right. And we were trying to do it with even parts, but we found out that the night is so relentless that it's impossible to have an equal part day and night gameplay. But we're working on it. This is important. We'll get it right. In terms of, you know, this going on, we can control it, of course. So for some story reason, we want to slow down the passage of time a little bit. It's entirely up to us. But other than that, the game is a sandbox. It's an open world, so the time will go on. You will get the night eventually. So if you're going from A to B and you're on a mission, even if it's a story mission, there is something that distracts you. This is something that we're having, seeded throughout the whole game, like random encounters, things that actually try to draw you away from your main objective. And they are worth pursuing. There are cool things there. But if you do that, the night will come and you're outside, you're exposed. So this is the type of thing that you should think about at all times.
Okay, so you don't want to get stuck out there in the night. But tell me a bit more about the parkour and how does that work? You know, I read that you can literally climb anything. How have you done that? Explain that to me.
Well, this is really done on the engine and map level. We are thinking in those terms for everything. This is not something that players should consciously think of. This is how you travel through the environment now. So we don't really have any complicated controls for that. There are some simple button combinations. You use your controller. If it looks like something you could conceivably climb in real life if you're more fit than I am, then you can do it in the game. And we're using Chrome Engine 6. It's our proprietary technology. This is the latest version built for the new console generation. So we really have those huge seamless maps. And if you see a building in the distance, it looks interesting. You can just run towards it, jump, slide, and then finally you can climb it, you can get inside, you can see what's there. This is what the open world really means in Dying Light.
Cool. Okay, well, I mean, obviously you can't talk about first-person parkour games without thinking a little bit about Mirror's Edge. That's kind of the one that's most famous. I mean, have you taken any pointers from that original game when you were developing your own system? Is there anything they did and you thought, ooh, I'd really like to have that in our game?
Well, I think every developer should learn from what is out there. And it would be silly if we told you that we never look at Mirror's Edge. It's a great game, but it's entirely different. It's more of a, racing stunt game. We love it, but to us, we had to incorporate the free running into everything that we do in this vast open world. So this is combat, exploration. It has to be done as means to an end and something that you do to survive, not to get somewhere really quickly and in a flashy, cool way. That comes too, but it is mainly a survival tool.
Okay. Well, let's talk a little bit more about your kind of zombie credentials, as it were, because obviously you guys worked on Dead Island Riptide. So what kind of things have you taken from your previous experience and thought, oh, we really liked how that worked, let's bring that to Dying Light?
Actually, it's important to say that Dying Light is developed by our biggest team, the one that developed the original Dead Island. Riptide was created by our smaller Warsaw studio, so they are different guys. They're nice too, but this is Dying Light is where we put our biggest and best team right after finishing the first Dead Island, so in early 2012. And you learn at every level, from the processes to quality assurance to the way the really big multiplayer environments influence everything. Because even though we have 4-player co-op, you have all those platforms like Steam Live and PSN and really massive amounts of people playing co-op together. So it creates both technical and customer service challenges, things that you have to handle in terms of lobby, finding your partners to play with. It really surprised us in a very positive way how people loved co-op, how they loved recording everything and sharing those experiences. we're definitely taking all that to heart and using it in Dying Light.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much, Blaze, for coming on and talking to me.
Thank you. My
It's great
pleasure.
to meet you. So that was Dying Light. Now, everyone else, stick around, stick with us. We're going to actually throw over now to Homer Ribara, who I understand is at iCade. So, Homer, tell us what you're seeing there.